What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today, guys? We are here to talk about Acolyte episode 5. I am your host, Emanuel Noisette. I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Let me just give you this quick spoiler alert. We will be going over all of the things that happened in episode 5. So if you haven't watched the episode yet, even though I gave y'all a whole 24 hours, go watch the episode and come on back and you could check this out. Maybe you could catch us on the replay. Shout out to the replay gang. But we will be going over spoilers today, so please just be aware. Whew. Y'all, this episode right here, listen, I feel like this is what we've been waiting for. I know this is what I was hoping for from the very beginning. The moment this thing got teased out, when we saw the trailer, I'm like, where are my lightsaber battles? And here we are. This was it. So we're going to get into the episode. We'll talk about all of that, of course. First, I got to give some love, and y'all give a quick shout out to Loki. Thank you so much for the $10 Cash App, for holding this down and making sure that we stay ad-free, because I do appreciate you guys keeping this user-supported channel. So thank you so much. Now let's give some quick shout outs and then we will go ahead and start getting into this episode. My man Simba's here. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Paulette, what's up? Mr. Mitchell, how you doing? Let's see. Didier, how you doing? Good to see you. Tasha, how are you? Come on through. We got the homie right there, low key. Thank you so much again. Tracy, how are y'all? Thank you so much for being here. Got the homie Zia Latrice here as well. EB, thank you so much for being here as well. Appreciate you. Hey, listen, Jedi die every day, B. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens. You know, Corey, what is up? My man Johnny Washington's here. Thank you so much for being here. Code, what is up? Good to see you. Tyra with the K. Hello. Phil Roy, appreciate you coming through. Kristen, hello. What's going on, Alib? Thank you for being here. My man Dwight is back as well. Let's see what's going on, Theo. Good to see you. Sean, how you doing? Batman, what is up? Mama J is in the building, y'all. The chaos is here too. Thank you guys for making it out. Andrew, I see you. Extraordinaire is back. Good to see you. I am King. Thank you so much for being here. Todd, how you doing? David, what's up? Rachel, how are you? Shout out to all of y'all making it out. I do appreciate it. All right, guys, let's get into this episode because there is a lot. There's just a lot that we have to talk about. So let's get into it. So we started off, and I feel like this is a recurring thing. Is it just me? Or does Osha stay getting knocked out? Osha is either knocked out every episode or she's taking a nap or something. But I feel like this is just what she does every single time. She's either KO'd or she's taking a nap. But one way or another, Osha stays sleeping. But whatever. She's awake now. And she sees that many of the Jedi that came on that trip with her, they're off. They've been off. They're out of here. The master clearly got rid of them and did that light work, right? And we do see that the fight is still going on. The master is taking on more of the Jedi. And after making contact with his helmet, we start to see that some of the Jedi's lightsabers are just no longer working, at all. But of course, this was only temporary when this was happening. As you can see right there, they hit his helmet and it just would not work. So, this is something where, like, we've talked about how in The Mandalorian, there are different things that have been in existence, different metals that would be used to combat Jedi, and Beskar armor was always one of them. Now, is that what this helmet is made out of? Maybe not. I doubt it, because the Beskar armor would only reflect. To deactivate these lightsabers, that takes something a little bit more. And the closest I found, and I had to do a deep dive, there's some sort of metal called cortosis, I think it's called. So, fellow Star Wars nerds, if y'all can check up on this, let me know. but there's a metal called cortosis, and it's kind of like an energy absorbing metal. And I think that would make sense. Now, that makes sense for the helmet. Now, I don't know, because we also saw it on his arms as well. I don't know if he had the metals on his arm. Maybe it was under, because he was stopping stuff with his arms too. We'll get to it a little bit later, but I do believe that his helmet at least is probably cortos. It was cortos. Okay, so I see people are agreeing with the cortosis. So I think we're on the same page with that. But did he have that on his arms as well? That's my question. The helmet makes sense, but he was doing it with his arms. And if I recall, I don't recall seeing anything on his arms that was like metal like there. So if there was something else, I don't know. We'll see. You guys let me know. But yeah, it looks like we're in agreement that he had cortosis, and that was basically shorting out their lightsabers, and they just didn't know how to deal with that. But man, I mean, it was temporary, so that was helpful at least. And oh my gosh, the master was just going through them like a hot knife through butter. I have to say, this was one of the coolest moves. I mean, this man stabbed one Jedi, force pulled another Jedi into the lightsaber, and then cut their heads off. I mean, hold on. Don't tell me you on the dark side and you not slicing up Jedi like that. This is what I expect to see from my dark side Sith users. If you're gonna be evil, be pure evil. This man, yo, I ain't never seen nothing like that before. This man stabbed somebody, said, yo, Scorpion, get over here, brought somebody else into that stabbing. How you gonna double shank somebody with a lightsaber? Then you gonna take it out, they already gone, and you gonna chop their head off on Yo, I know they didn't show it all the way, but that right there, you just established who's the master. Okay, you established that at that point. So I'm with it. So I love the energy that the master brought on at this point. This right here definitely set the tone the right way. And I was right there with it. I was here for all of it. So Osha stays here with her blaster, and she tries to fire at the master, and he is completely unfazed. And I think that this definitely has something to, this might be more important later. Maybe it's because of the helmet that made him unfazed. I'm not sure. Because later on, we see that when this blaster is used on other people, they go down. They go down very easily. So it's either that helmet or the cortosis metal or something that is keeping him unfazed from the metal or from the blaster, or maybe this master is just that powerful. I don't know. But anyway, we see May. She sees that the master is about to go after Osha. So she finds Kelnaka's lightsaber and takes it. The master he finds Osha and throws the lightsaber at her, almost taking her head off. But thankfully, Soul is right there to protect her. He tells Yord to hurry up and take Osha to safety and take her back to the ship, because clearly this master is going to be a problem for them. And Soul asks the master about his identity, and Soul says that like he did sense something about him before, but it was something familiar, but he just couldn't put his finger on it. And here's the thing. My question about this is, because obviously we know who the master is at this point. Did Soul sense something maybe from the episode 2? Was it in this episode, or did Soul maybe sense something familiar from before that time? I'm talking about like when Osha was a kid, maybe even younger. Is that what Soul sensed that was familiar? So again, it could be either one. It could be he sensed something right, like I said, from episode 2 when obviously they met, or I'm wondering if it was something even further back in the past. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, feel free to let me know what you think about this connection the Soul might have with the master in this case. Anyway, as May tries to escape, She is immediately confronted by Jackie, and they start to go at it, and Jackie ends up arresting her, and they, I like the little fight that they had going on. But during the fight, elsewhere, you see Saul fighting the master, and he says, like, yo, why won't you reveal your face? And the master basically says, like, for what? So that you could read my thoughts. So this right here gives us another hint or another impression of what's going on with the master. It seems as though my man's got a Magneto level kind of helmet. So maybe this helmet, not only can it absorb energy and deflect sabers and deactivate them, it could also be the case that it will prevent the Jedi from using force abilities on him or on his mind. Now, something to kind of consider. Again, we already know the identity of the master. If you go back to, what was it, episode 2, when they confronted the master, right? What was the first thing he said to them? Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't use them Jedi tricks on me. Don't read my mind. Why? Because he didn't have the helmet on. So that could, listen, this is kind of like those little things I was talking about, why I didn't want to rush to judgment about the whole series being bad. Excuse me. Because it was possible that some revelations that we find out later might make us reevaluate and re-examine the previous episode. So I'm not saying it's for everything, but I do think that it was an interesting point to kind of realize that, like, oh, okay, that's why he was acting like that before, because of this and that. So anyway, just a little quick thing. But I do like the fact that, we're getting this new element with a that makes the adversary, that makes the villain a lot more formidable. So anyway, Saul asked him what the master, why he would hide his face from his pupil, and he flipped the question right back at him. He was like, "You tell me." Now, this could be yet another clue for all of us that, is it possible that Master might know more about Saul than he's letting on? I mean, does he know Saul personally, or does he just know about what happened with Saul, what Saul did in the past? I mean, there is indication that this master does know the Jedi ways. So I'm also wondering, is it possible that he knows more about the Jedi than is being, revealed at this point? Anyway, we go back to Osha and Yord, and Osha hears Jackie scream as she's fighting with May, and says that, and Yord is like, yo, Jackie could take care of herself. She'll be all right. She's a Jedi anyway. Saul continues to get his butt whooped by the master. And then all of a sudden, the master just did a whole ninja vanish. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but my man been just vanishing out of nowhere. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, how come the other Jedi don't be doing this? Maybe I missed it. I don't know. But, like, this man be vanishing like a ninja, like, out of nowhere. Anyway, Yord, he admits that the master is tough because he doesn't follow the rules and his movements do not make any sense. Yord also mentions how the master can get into people's heads and stay in there. And Osha says that her mama could do the same thing. Now, this is something that, again, starts to establish the difference between the Sith and the Jedi. The Jedi are very structured. They're very ordered. They're very disciplined in what they do. And it's very important to understand, we are in the age of the High Republic. We are in the age when the Jedi are at their peak. In other words, there are no challengers. So if we're thinking of it as, I don't know, martial arts or something, it's almost like the Jedi are like karate, right? They're like, yo, karate is this, is that, that's it, and nothing else. And the Sith are kind of like, man, I'm a street fighter, I'm MMA, I mix it up, I'm a pounding ground. I'm a pound your head in. Like, I'm not following them rules, you know? So like they're throwing the Jedi off. And that's one of the main reasons why the master was able to go through all them Jedi, because they so worried about holding their stance and proper technique and proper form. And the master's like, man, whatever. Like, I'll kick you where the sun don't shine. I don't care, because he does not follow the Jedi order. And the same way May, as we saw in the first episode, they are using the Jedi's own training and their own logic against them. Hey, a Jedi doesn't take a weapon out unless they are meant to kill. That's the Jedi order. That's their religion. That is their following, whatever. And these Sith and everyone, you know, who follows them, they're using it against them. So this is not something that the Jedi are ready for, because again, they've had decades, if not centuries, of being on top when it comes to being the main power when it comes to the Force and stuff like that. So, you know, this is really messing them up. The Sith Lord right now, he is jacking them up because he doesn't follow their rules. Just like, you know, Yord was saying, they've never practiced for something like this. They've only practiced against each other. A lot of them haven't even really seen real combat. The Sith are not a thing at this point. So, you know, they are really getting caught off guard. And this is one of the reasons why the master is really jacking them up. So we get you know, let me see here. Okay, so Jackie and May, they're still fighting. And you know, May actually manages to like put up a fight, but Jackie arrests her, puts the cuffs on her, and everything seems cool. Everything seems cool until the master comes in and saves May. Now we do see that that Jackie makes contact with the master's helmet once again. And that I'm sorry, not the helmet. She makes contact with his arm, and her lightsaber begins to malfunction. Now, luckily, again, she had grabbed Kelnaka's lightsaber, so that was a way for her to still even out the playing field a little bit there. And during this time, May, she was like, yo, it's time to get up out of here. So she takes off running. The master sees her running, and he starts to go off to go get her as he's fighting Jackie. And boom, he just does the ninja vanish once again and disappears. Again, I don't know how he's able to do this, but I like the fact that he's doing it. Osha, she notices those bugs up there that we saw earlier and tells Yor to turn off his lightsaber. The master does end up catching up with May and breaks her free from her shackles at this point. And he's about to take her out. Like, he's like, yo, you disobeyed me. You were going back on the deal. You know, like, this is it for you, you know. And he's about to get rid of her and take her out. But Sol and Jackie do come in, and they both start to attack the master at this point. And this, I love this fight. This fight was just fantastic. Okay, so it does look like he has some metal on his arm. Okay, I'll take that back then. So it looks like he does have that I guess cortosis on his arm as a shield. But this fight right here, absolutely enjoyed it. So good. And the master continues to leave and go after May. And he's really intent. He's really set on trying to kill May at this point. But Jackie does come in and saves her at the last moment. May, I guess, does a force call out to Osha. And she can obviously hear her. So it is apparent that they still have this bond of obviously being twins. This force connection is still strong between them. And Osha tells Yord that they have to go back because the master, he about to kill all of them. So they have to go back. She clearly has a plan. She looks up, she sees the bugs and stuff lighting up. So clearly that's going to be part of her plan. But the master, as he's fighting them, he uses his helmet to disable Sol's lightsaber. And Jackie, she does get a couple shots in. Okay, my girl was getting a couple good shots. She got a couple elbow shots straight to the face, knocked this man's helmet off, and right there he says, split up his whole lightsaber. And Jackie said, I'm going to get you. Ah. Yes, that was it. She got poked. She got shanked. Not once, not twice, but thrice. Woo! And that was it for Jackie. Saul was like, no. Yeah, that was a wrap for Jackie. I did not see this coming. I kind of thought Jackie would have played a little bit longer, you know, a little bit more of a role, but you know, that was it. And this is where we finally see the reveal. Very dope pose. Love the pose. We see the reveal of the master, and it's none other than Kamir the whole time, who, you know, he was one of the logical suspects. Now, I still thought that it was going to be one of the mothers or it was going to be some woman, because they kept saying he, and I'm like, how y'all know it's a he though, you know? But Kamir was probably like the next logical guess anyway of who was going to be the actual master in this case. So we finally found that out. And you know, it was interesting. You know, it was definitely interesting to see that he was the one behind it all. And it does, again, it makes you kind of go back and think about all the previous episodes and the clues. Now, I told y'all back then, one of the main clues that I thought was interesting was when May tried to get Kamir, because she was like, yo, you snitched on me to the Jedi. And when she tried to roll up on him, he did a quick reversal on her out of nowhere. And I'm like, listen, ain't no drug pusher gonna have that kind of moves on somebody with force abilities unless they also got something going on too. So again, the clues were there, the hints were there that Kamir clearly was going to be somebody. Now, we didn't know he was going to be exactly the master, but maybe he was another apprentice. But the clues were definitely there. So yeah, we have Jackie here. I'm sorry, we have May. She's definitely scared about what's going on. She has to go back. And we see Soul confronting Kamir, and Soul told him, he was like, yo, Jackie was just a child. How could you do this, man? And Kamir was like, but you brought her here. And this is yet again another shot at the Jedi trying to have that moral high ground, but instead the Sith are painting or putting up this moral mirror in their face. Like, how you gonna call me the bad guy, but you the one bringing all the kids out to a fight? Are you really all that good, Mr. Jedi? Hey, my man. I mean, he's making points. He's making points. You know, everybody likes to believe that the Jedi are all good and everything, but clearly that ain't the case. And, you know, Kamir basically does a little force pull and he grabs May, and, you know, Saul, he immediately gives up his weapon, you know, because he doesn't want May obviously to die here in this case as Kamir holds her hostage. And when Saul asks him, like, yo, like, what are you? He was like, well, I mean, you know, y'all probably call me a Sith, you know, and this is our first indication of a Sith existing. Now, here's something that we do need to talk about. We know from episode 1 of Star Wars Phantom Menace, we heard, oh, the Sith haven't existed for over a millennia. That gives us an indication of a couple of things. One, everybody that knows about this Sith are probably going to die. 2, this Sith might end up dying. Maybe. 3, maybe the Sith will continue and there's a huge cover-up that never makes it all the way up to the top. So I feel like this is kind of like what this show hopefully will give us more insight about, is we now know that maybe 100 years or something like that before episode 1 of Star Wars, 100 years or whatever before that, the Sith, they believe the Sith did not exist. But now I want to know, how did y'all keep that secret? Or how is it that no one ever learned about them? Because clearly my man is out there in the open. He even told you what he is, what he was, and all of that. So it looks like this is going to set something up, but we are going to have to figure this out. Hold on, I got a comment here. Shogun, what you got? To me, Sith guy calling out Soul about bringing kids to the fight doesn't make Jedi bad, just stupid. Well, there is a moral argument to be made, because earlier in what was it, the third episode, when the witches were like, man, y'all Jedi, y'all just be out here taking kids. So it to me, that sounds like the Jedi have a reputation that they take kids. Now, if you saw, Soul got very defensive. He was like, no, the Jedi, we don't take kids, so like it seems like that was a soft spot for them, that that reputation is, that insinuation is even out there. But I mean, I think a case could be made that taking young children away at a very young age, because they're taking kids at like 2-3 years old. I mean, look at how people feel about taking 16 to 18-year-olds just to go to the military. You taking a young kid that ain't even really a full adult yet, and you about to go put them in war. So I feel like the sentiments are kind of similar, but it's a little bit worse with the Jedi because they taking babies. Oh, you got force abilities? Take that pacifier out. You coming with us. So I could see how like some people would view that as being immoral, And by the way, that is going to be an accusation that is going to be laid against them a little later. Anyway, so so the Sith is basically trying to say that, like, you know what, you Jedi, y'all not that good either. Okay, and we've heard this before, right? And when Soul asked him, like, okay, man, but like, what do you want, man? And he was just like, listen, I just want my freedom. I want my freedom to wield my power, or the Force, however I want to do it, without the Jedi's approval. Now, he also said that he wants a pupil or an acolyte. And, but the Jedi, they're the ones that say that the Sith can't exist. So what does this mean? This kind of gives the impression, once again, remember, the Jedi are the ones that are in control. They're the ones that dominate the Force, how the Force should be used, who should use the Force. So in other words, from the Sith's perspective, and everyone else, including those the witches and stuff like that, the Jedis are oppressors of the Force. They're the ones that say, like, nah, you can't use the Force that way. You can only use the Force our way. And any other way that's not our way is wrong or it's evil. Look, the Jedi are like, if it's light, it's right. You know what I'm saying? So, like it's a little, it depends on your point of view at this point. But he's basically saying, like, yo, you guys are holding us hostage when it comes to this. And it really gives the impression that the Jedi at this point in time are more oppressors than they are peacekeepers. The mother witches they were saying pretty much the same thing. Now, while this is happening, Yord comes in, picks up the Master's helmet, and Kamir quickly blocks his attack with his armor on his arm, and that of course shorts out both of their lightsabers. That's why they both didn't work here. And then unfortunately, Yord, that was it. That was it for him. Just 1, 2, 3, and my man was out of there. And that was the end of Yord. I don't know if y'all was Yord fans or not, but my man is out. He's done. And yeah, that was it. He did. So May, she tries to make a run for it, which is probably the smartest thing to do. She makes a run for it, but it be your own people. Osha, her twin sister, shoots her down. Your own sister gonna shoot you down like this? Ooh, that's messed up. Yeah, there go Yord. He's still down. But so he sees what happens to Yord and he straight loses it. He loses it and attacks Khmer. They going at it. And I mean, my man was really like just going at it almost like a Sith. He was really fighting passionately, if you notice, and he actually gets the best of him and best Khmer to the point where he pretty much could have chopped his head off right here, right? And this is the moment where Khmer he sees Osha standing off there and he asks her, like, yo, do you still trust this guy even after everything he did to you? And this gives another indication that Khmer knows something about what Saul did to her, because this keeps on. Listen, we keep getting this inference. We keep hearing it from Khmer. We keep hearing it from May that Saul did something to Osha and Osha just doesn't know, or it's not clicking. We don't really know. But Soul said that, like, yo, his mind is just twisted in darkness. But he was like, hey, I'm good with my darkness. But what about yours? Are you okay with your darkness? So once again, this is yet another hint that Khmer knows what the Jedi did. He knows probably Soul's secret, because clearly Soul's got a secret. Remember, what was it? I want to say it was last episode. Soul kept saying, like, oh, when we get back to the ship, I'm gonna tell you everything. He knows something. He was going to reveal something to Osha once they get back to the ship, but we'll get back to that later. Now, Soul does withdraw his weapon because he said a Jedi does not attack people who are unarmed. And again, this is something really just to show you that the Jedi have a code. The Jedi, during this time frame, they have a very strict code, a very strict way of doing battle, and they have what is it? Rules of engagement. So now listen. After I done seen you kill 7 other Jedi, I'm not letting you go. Yup, snip, zoom, just like that. But Soul is a very honorable Jedi. He's a very religious Jedi. He lives and clearly might even die by this code. It's clearly dumb. The code is dumb, but his adherence to it is not dumb, because that's just the way the Jedi are. Again, we saw the same thing in the very first episode with Carrie-Anne's character, where she was like not going to pull out a weapon unless she was ready to kill. But this is to the advantage of the Sith, when they know that the Jedi are not going to attack them from behind. The Jedi are not going to attack them when they're unarmed. They know this, and that's one of the reasons why the Sith are going to have the advantage, because they like, man, I don't have to follow the rules. I don't have to break the rules if I never follow them. So this kind of makes more sense as to why May, one of the challenges that that Khmer gave to May was to go kill a Jedi unarmed. Well, if now she thought that was impossible, but if you think about it, based off of the Jedi rules that they have to follow, you probably could kill a Jedi without having a weapon on you, because they're not going to pull their weapon, which means you just got to play a little bit dirtier than them and you can end up killing them. So, now it's starting to kind of make a little bit more sense. Once again, this is why the Sith are so very different than the Jedi. Let's see. So let's see. He withdraws his weapon. Yes, we already got that. So this is where Osha comes in, and as Kamir picks up his weapon and he's about to attack, Osha takes Pip, her little droid, and makes him into a flashlight and attaches it right on the back of Kamir. And of course, as we know, this is going to attract all those bugs that we saw earlier, and they quickly swarm and attack Kamir. And it looks like that's the end of him, of course, right? However, right before they could celebrate, May comes in and shoots Saul in the back and stuns him. And Osha and May, they both meet up now to have a conversation. And Osha said that May was the violent one. She was the one that started the fire. She was the one that, basically killed their family and everything. And the Jedi saved her. Okay. It was the Jedi that saved her all this time. And May is like, the Jedi must have brainwashed you, because no. And as they like start to look at each other and try to reminisce, and they start to embrace each other. And just like that, Osha was just like, nah, you under arrest. And she's trying to basically arrest her and take her in, because Osha is still, she's on Team Jedi at this point. But May quickly reverses that hold on her and says that the Jedi stole Osha from them, and they gave her a life without love, without family, without purpose. And that, if you really think about it, that's the Jedi way. Because the Jedi, they don't have family. The Jedi, they're not allowed to love. They have to have a detachment from attachments. They can't get into the emotions. Is that really right? Is it? I mean, I know we grew up knowing that the Jedi is supposed to be good and peacekeepers, but I'm just saying, you taking a little kid, not allowing them to experience their full emotions and to hold all that stuff in. They can't really have a family, because if they have a family, that means attachments. Just because you in the order doesn't mean that they're a family. Is that right? Is that in principle, is that okay? I don't know. But that is how the Jedi gets down. Now, May, as they both are going at it, May hits Osha with that Force Hadouken. And of course, we know that once again, if Osha's gonna do anything, she gonna be knocked out or take a nap, and right on cue, she out of here. Look at her. Just whew, man, between her and Jean Grey, I don't know who does it more. I don't know. But anyway, we do see here that May ends up cutting off her hair. Why? So that she can look more like Osha. And it's probably time for that good old twin switcheroo. How many times have we seen that happen? But I will say this, though, like, I think that whole interaction, it sounds like May is actually telling the truth. And I think a lot of you guys have had similar theories here, that the Jedi are clearly did something wrong. Once again, let's not forget, Tobin was willing to die and take poison and he said, "I'm sorry for what we did to you." He had to apologize to May. What you apologizing for if you didn't do anything wrong? Better yet, why are you taking poison rather than going to the Jedi Council, rather than getting arrested or something? You rather end it all. What did y'all do? What was so bad at that point? So, I feel like at this point we're seeing that that May is probably telling the truth, and that it is possible that Osha was brainwashed, and she just might not know it. Don't know. Anyway, let's see. The Master does end up coming back. I mean, come on now. Them bugs was clearly not going to keep him down for long. And we do see here that May comes back, and it looks like she has switched clothes with Osha. and she goes off with Saul back to the ship. And as they're going back to the ship, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Basil was back there and he found Pip. Like he found a little, flashlight portion of him or whatever, and decided to take it back to OSHA. But what's interesting here is that Basil is a great tracker, right? He was the one that was out there trying to go track Kelnaka and all of that. But he also probably knows the difference between May and OSHA. However, the only person that understands him was Yord, if I'm not mistaken. Yord was the only one that spoke his language, and nobody else did. But Yord is dead, so oh well. Now we do see that Kamir goes back and he finds OSHA. And if I'm not, I think he also healed her as well. Like she had a cut or wound on her side. I believe he healed her and he ended up covering her up. So I'm wondering now, what is this fondness that he has for her? Because it would seem as though clearly he don't mess with May no more. Like he was literally trying to kill May. But he does seem to have some sort of fondness, or at least he's cool with OSHA. So this is where we get into more theory time stuff, right? I'm wondering, when it comes to Kamir, I'm wondering if he was a former Padawan. And I'm also wondering if, that's why I asked y'all, do y'all think that sense of being familiar, could it have been that maybe Kamir was a Padawan that Saul trained? Because remember, when we first got introduced to Saul, we saw all these little kids, and that means that, Saul was training a lot of little Jedi kids. That doesn't mean he had a connection with every single one of them. But I'm thinking that Kamir used to be a Jedi, or at least a Padawan, and he clearly knew or found out what happened with the Jedi and the witches. He knows that. Now, the other clue that we have is that Kamir knows he has some sort of connection with the witches' planet or whatever they were at. He knows their culture. He knew how to do the Buntu stuff. He knew how to make that poison or whatever. And he also knew how to do that force trick where he can be in your head while he's fighting you, just like OSHA said, oh, my mama does the same thing. Is it possible that Kamir might have been raised by the witches? Is it possible that maybe he was created by the witches? I don't know. Maybe he was a little Padawan, stowed away on the ship, saw what the Jedi did, thought it was messed up, bogus. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But the fact that he knows the witches' culture, the fact that he knows a lot of their tricks, he might even know how OSHA and May were created. He might know that. I don't know. I'm also wondering, could he be the Acolyte? Could Kamir, could he be the actual Acolyte? And maybe the real master is one of the witches. Maybe the moms or somebody did survive. I'm just saying, you can't have Jodie, you can't have Jodie in here, Jodie TurnerSmith, and then all of a sudden you just have her in there for one episode. I feel like they're gonna come back. I feel like they will. I don't know. All right, guys. That was just my little theory on what's going on. But this is the point where I need your help. I need to find out, what did you guys think about this episode on a scale from 0 to 10? While you guys are letting me know what you think, I will let you know what I'm thinking. So, this is easily, in my opinion, the best episode so far. I'm not saying it's the best Star Wars episode. I'm saying for this series, up until this time, this is the best that we've got. I love the action in this. I love the fact that this is what you sold me on in the beginning, when we got them trailers, this is what we asked for, right? So from an action standpoint, choreography, I'm with it. I liked it. It was cool. They gave us about 15 minutes out of the 25 or so of straight up action, and I was cool with that. I'm still a little iffy about the reveal of the Master's identity, because I remember it felt like that was supposed to be something that probably could have been bigger later, but I'm wondering if that reveal happens now at the midway point, then you clearly have to have something else later, because if the big reveal is that Soul or the Jedi did something bad, I don't care. Like, that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not enough for me to sit here and be like, oh no, the Jedi did something bad. That's it? Nah, I need something bigger, meatier, juicier than that. So I'm a little iffy on that. I don't think that we got the best plot being pushed forward. So I'm gonna take a couple points off of that. Nothing thematically really felt deep or resonating. So if I'm gonna give this a rating, I'll say, just because this felt like true Star Wars, but you didn't really hit me with much more, I'm gonna probably go with an 8 out of 10. Very entertaining. I stayed glued on the whole time. But I think that was it. Like, if you took the lightsaber fights and all that out of it, this probably would have been like a 5 or a 6, because there was nothing really else there. But I come to Star Wars for lightsaber battles, and you gave me the bare minimum, and it was good. I had never seen also the Cortosis armor and stuff used. I like it whenever Star Wars can give me a new way of how to interpret the Force, a new Force ability, a new way to fight Jedi stuff. I like that. That's a good thing for me. So I'll give it an 8. Best so far. Let's see if they can keep this momentum. Let's see. But I got to see where y'all are at with it. Maybe y'all liked it more. Maybe y'all didn't. I don't know. But hold on. Let's get 6.5. All right. We got an 8, 10, 10, 6, 8, 9, 8, 8, 10, 6.5, 9, 8, 8, 2. Wow. Did you see episode 3 like that? Okay. All right. 8, 8, 8, 7, 9, 9.2, 7.75, 7, 9, 6, 8, 8, 8.5, 9, 9. Who else did I see? 9, 8, and an 8. Okay. Hey, I get it. So I think it's a little mixed. But I think overall we like the episode. I think that might be fair to say. I'm a little surprised some really low ones though, but okay. Let's see what you got. S. Toms, what you got? I'm really upset that the Jedi with the Killmonger haircut died. He seemed really cool. Well, listen, we might be in some Rogue One territory here. Keep in mind, the Sith are supposed to be a secret, right? Like, that's literally the whole point of the prequels, is the fact that the Sith came out of nowhere and surprised all of the Jedi for decades, for centuries, right? So don't be surprised if everybody dies. Everybody might die here. Osha might die, May might die, Soul might die. Like, I'm not gonna be shocked if everybody dies, if that's what it takes to preserve the secret that the Sith do exist. Because how else are we going to allow the Sith to exist for another 100 years until we catch up with Palpatine and them? So, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy. We'll see what else they got in store though. All right, guys, that's all we got for tonight. I want to say thank you so much for this. If you are watching on the replay, please feel free to go ahead, leave me your thoughts and comments. I do try my best to Go back, read them, respond if necessary as well on the replays. So I do appreciate you guys engaging with the content. All right, so we're on episode 5. Means that we got 3 more left, I believe. So we'll see what else they can do. I'm very interested to see what other mysteries they will unravel here. But anyway, guys, we will be back here again, same time, same place next week. Make sure, what do we have next? Friday. We got Friday coming up next. We'll go over the news from the week. I think I will give you guys a Quiet Place day 1 review. I might do a review tomorrow, Friday. And then Monday we have our House of the Dragon, same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll go over that episode. And then, of course, next Wednesday we'll be back here as well. Hopefully they keep this same energy, because listen, this is finally a little bit of hope that things are picking up, and I need them to keep that energy. Anyway, guys, have a good rest of your week. If I don't see you, you know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. Until next time, see you guys later. Peace.